Okay. So having said that, thanks everyone for joining in this first webinar of the CyberSuite project. The purpose of this webinar is to introduce the CyberSuite framework to you, along with its architecture, the development process, and also the individual tools that make up the CyberSuite framework and collection of tools. So I'm gonna hand over to Georgia Protogeru, who is our project coordinator and an R&D project manager from Ubitech Limited. So Georgia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nicholas, for the short introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Georgia Protogeru, the coordinator of the CyberSuite project, and I'm really thrilled to welcome you to today's webinar. CyberSuite is an EU-funded initiative dedicated to enhancing cybersecurity in software development with a focus on DevSecOps, integration of security tools, and user-friendly dashboards to support SMEs and developers across Europe. Today, we will walk you through our project framework and give you a first-hand look at the tools being developed and integrated into the suite. Let's get started with the webinar's agenda. As you will see, we have prepared an exciting and content-rich schedule for you, where you will get a comprehensive look at the CyberSuite project, its framework, and the innovative tools we are integrating to support secure and efficient software development. We will begin with a brief welcome and project overview, which I will be presenting to set the stage and provide the context of our initiative. Then we will move into the CyberSuite framework, which is divided into several key presentations. First, Nefeli Buntuni from Suite 5 will walk us through the CyberSuite minimum viable product and the DevSecOps process. Following that, Yannis Lidakis, the project's technical coordinator from Ubitech, and Nicola Martialis from Pluribus One will explain the system's architecture, interoperability, and integration aspects. Then Yannis will return to present the CyberSuite Dashboard, which plays a central role in how users interact with the platform. Finally, Nefeli will introduce the CyberSuite Marketplace, where all the tools and services come together. After the framework, we will dive into the tool overview, a fast-paced segment where each partner will present their tools shortly. These tools represent the core functionality of CyberSuite in practice. You can see here the order of the presentations. We will start with ACAS, which will be presented by Man and Nguyen from Montimage. Then we will proceed with SeerBox by Guido Muredou from Pluribus One. Then SASTer will be presented by Nicolas Luca from EBOS. Pentesting by Edgardo Montes de Orca from Montimage. MAESTRO will be presented by Yannis Lidakis from Ubitech. The GEIGER tools and the compliance assistant will be presented by Samuel Fricker from CyberGEIGER. BCCTI will be presented by Theophilos Papasternos from Compelio. Kartos will be presented by Sergio Sansidro from Enthec. And lastly, the Anti-Phishing game will be presented by Luong and Nguyen from Montimage. We will conclude the session with some closing remarks to wrap up the key takeaways of today's webinar. So throughout the webinar, we encourage you to send us your questions using the chat function. All questions will be collected and addressed at the end of the webinar during a dedicated Q&A session. If you have further questions after the session or would like to get in touch with us directly, please feel free to use the contact form on our website. I would like to thank you once more for joining us today, and we are looking forward to sharing with you CyberSuite and hearing your thoughts and feedback throughout the session. So I will now give you a short overview of CyberSuite, where we stand today and what we aim to achieve. CyberSuite is funded under the Digital Europe program. The project officially started on January 1st, 2024. Now we are in the in month 18 of the project, and the project will run for 36 months, ending in December 2026. The consortium brings together 12 partners from 8 different countries, including 11 SMEs and 1 public authority. Together, we aim to deliver tangible market-driven cybersecurity solutions specifically tailored to SMEs. So CyberSuite's main aim is to provide a holistic cybersecurity framework. This framework is designed to simplify the integration, deployment, and management of cybersecurity services. Our goal is to support SMEs with advanced levels of security, privacy, and trustworthiness, making solutions that are not only secure and reliable, but also easy to onboard and easy to deploy through a dedicated marketplace. Now, how do we do this? We offer a palette of advanced and existing cybersecurity services, including an enterprise-grade security as a service platform, a personalized recommendation systems for cybersecurity tools and processes, advanced intrusion detection mechanisms based on network data, attestation and verification technologies to assure trust and interoperability, a wide range of tools for cyber risk management, and cybersecurity analytics services for deeper insights. In terms of application, CyberSuite targets multiple sectors with real-world use cases in energy tracking, railway monitoring, digital health, and agri-food systems. These diverse domains help us validate the framework's flexibility, scalability, and relevance across different industry needs. Here is a quick look at the consortium partners that are bringing the CyberSuite project to life. As I mentioned earlier, CyberSuite is a truly collaborative initiative that brings together a diverse group of 12 partners from 8 different countries. Of these 12 partners, 11 are dynamic SMEs, each contributing unique technological expertise and flexibility and an innovative mindset. We are also proud to include one public organization which plays an important role as a use case provider within the project. Our consortium is strategically structured to cover a full range of competencies and roles essential to CyberSuite success. To give you a more detailed view, the tool providers include Ubitech, Montimage, Suite 5, Enthec Solutions, EBOS Technologies, Compelio, inQbit Innovations, and Pluribus One. The use case demonstrators are Suite 5 for the energy sector, StreamAll for railway monitoring, DCCG for digital health, and Compelio for agri-food. We also have partners involved in cybersecurity awareness and training, ensuring that adoption is not just technical, but also cultural and organizational. Those partners are Ubitech, Joist, and EBOS. This combination of technical depth, domain-specific validation, and right outreach capacity allows CyberSuite to be both ambitious and grounded in real-world impact. Let's take a moment to talk about the key challenges that CyberSuite aims to address, particularly for small and medium-sized enterprises. SMEs often face significant obstacles in building and maintaining robust cybersecurity practices. These stem from a combination of issues. First, long-term security and operational assurance is a difficult goal, especially given the limited financial and human resources available in most SMEs. The constant adoption of new applications and resources opens up multiple new entry points for cyber threats, making systems more vulnerable than ever. On top of that, modern infrastructures built on distributed services, APIs, microservices, and containers, which introduce a larger and more complex attack surface that is much harder to secure. Beyond the technical aspects, SMEs often struggle with the applicability and usability of existing cybersecurity tools. There is also a lack of standardized risk-based classification methods, and the regulatory compliance remains difficult to achieve. And of course, one of the most pressing issues, the shortage of skilled and trained cybersecurity personnel. CyberSuite was designed with these realities in mind. Our goal is to provide a user-friendly, integrated cybersecurity platform that simplifies this landscape for SMEs, helping them adopt, manage, and sustain effective security strategies with confidence. In addition to the tools, we are also committed to offering educational resources, guidance, and best practices that empower SMEs to build internal capacity and make cybersecurity a natural part of their operations. Now let's take a look at the vision of the CyberSuite project, which aligns directly with the main objectives of the Digital Europe Work Programme. CyberSuite's vision is centered around 4 key pillars. First, we aim to enhance the capabilities of existing cybersecurity services and tools by integrating them into a unified platform. This platform is designed to be easy to onboard and easy to deploy, offering a practical marketplace-based solution that will be demonstrated through 4 real-world application domain use cases. Second, we are committed to providing an extensive set of educational and training resources. This is achieved through the CyberSuite Academy, helping SMEs build their internal cybersecurity skills and awareness. Third, CyberSuite seeks to promote the sharing of best practices. Through a series of dedicated activities, we will support SMEs in the adoption of secure, innovative solutions and contribute to a stronger, more collaborative cybersecurity ecosystem. And lastly, we strive to limit the overall usage of resources, particularly in terms of energy consumption. We are taking a resource-efficient approach, focusing on cloud-native deployments and applying mitigation actions at the network interface level to reduce unnecessary load on SME infrastructures. Together, these 4 pillars reflect our holistic, practical, and forward-looking vision for enabling accessible, secure, and sustainable cybersecurity for European SMEs. As we look ahead, we anticipate several key outcomes from the CyberSuite project that align closely with European cybersecurity priorities. First, CyberSuite aims to support the adoption of market-ready, innovative cybersecurity solutions. This includes solutions that have been developed within the scope of EU-funded research and innovation projects, helping to bring those advancements into real-world application, especially for SMEs. Second, we intend to provide and deploy up-to-date tools and services that help organizations, particularly small and medium-sized enterprises, to get better prepared, protected, and to respond to cybersecurity threats. These tools will be accessible, interoperable, and easy to integrate into existing systems. And third, CyberSuite will work to improve the security of open-source solutions. This could include measures like the establishment of bug bounty programs, which are valuable in strengthening community-driven software by identifying and mitigating vulnerabilities before they can be exploited. These expected results reflect our commitment to practical impact, not just developing tools, but ensuring they are adopted, effective, and sustainable for the organizations that need them most. So, thank you for your attention so far. That concludes the project overview section, where we explore the background, vision, and expected impact of the CyberSuite initiative. Now we will move on to the next part of our webinar, which takes a deeper look at the CyberSuite framework, the technical backbone of the project. In this section, you will hear from several of our consortium partners who will walk us through key aspects of the platform, including the minimum viable product design, DevSecOps processes, system architecture, integration approach, and the dashboard and marketplace that bring everything together in a practical, user-friendly way. Let's begin with the presentation on the CyberSuite MVP and DevSecOps process, which will be delivered by Nefeli Bunduni from Suite 5. Nefeli, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, just let me share my screen. And okay, is it working? Okay, screen sharing for everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so welcome to all people that have joined to learn more about CyberSuite. Together we will see what is exactly the DevSecOps and how we in CyberSuite have defined it, and also the steps and the process and the final results of our travel or journey towards defining the minimum viable product of CyberSuite and what will be offered by the individual assets and the integrated framework. So let's start with the role of the MVP in CyberSuite. The minimum viable product is something that we see as an enabler that will allow us to go towards having early user and market validation. So we will plan for rapid development of our tools, and especially with regards to features that have to do with integration and the features that will actually enable even SMEs that don't have the technical background or the cybersecurity departments to set up and configure cybersecurity services over their infrastructure, these features that will actually bring the added value to them from the CyberSuite side. So the MVP in CyberSuite will be early, but it will not be something minimum. We give a lot of focus on actually having something that brings added value to the end users. It will be, as I said, an enabler for our release planning, and it will guide, and it has guided so far, all the development and technical design activities. The process towards defining the MVP also included actually empathizing with our target users. That could be both coming from having a business background, a management background, but also users that may have a technical background. And during this process of the MVP definition, we identified the user personas that pose specific requirements with regards to the design and offering of our services. Finally, the MVP is something that comes from agile development techniques. So it is something flexible. We have a prioritized backlog that gives the first guidance on our release planning, but it is not something fixed. We will have flexible backlog management. We will possibly need to adapt and introduce new features after our validation activities with external users through the hackathon activities of the project, or from feedback that may come from our 4 demonstrators that were introduced by Georgia. So this is the role of the MVP. The second thing that maybe we need to clarify a bit is what is the DevSecOps and the DevSecOps lifecycle as we view it in CyberSuite. So the most common term is actually the DevOps. All the processes that start from the development, from the conceptualization of a service, planning of features, up to testing, deployment, and actual operation of a software service. In the DevSecOps lifecycle, actually the security aspect becomes integrated in the DevOps traditional lifecycle in all phases and steps of the software lifecycle. So actually in the DevSecOps lifecycle, we inject cybersecurity from planning. So at the planning phase, actually, we will have the onboarding of the CyberSuite assets that will help the users, the software developer companies, and the SMEs that have software in their infrastructure. We will allow them to identify early the security threats and security requirements they have for their infrastructure based on their assets. Then on the build phase, where we have the coding, we will actually have techniques like SASTer, like static code analysis, in order to make sure that secure coding practices have been used and are continuously used in order to minimize vulnerabilities that are in the code. In the deployment phase, actually, we will assist SMEs and the end users to safely deploy their software in the most secure manner. And this might also have include the configuration of their infrastructure. In the testing phase, actually, after we have deployed the business application, that is the application to be protected, we will apply testing methods like pen testing in order to see how secure we are and how prepared we are against various attacks that are out there. And during operation and monitoring of the business application that is now in production, actually we will have tools and assets from CyberSuite that will allow the runtime security monitoring and identification of attacks, and will allow the end users through a common dashboard to easily identify any incidents and view the suggested ways to mitigate and respond to them. Across all these traditional phases of the DevSecOps lifecycle, we have introduced in CyberSuite another phase, the horizontal phase, that actually is focused on the cross-cutting security services management and configuration. That is a main pain point for SMEs that don't have a dedicated department to handle these activities. So here we will go briefly through the methodology that we utilized in order to define our MVP. We start from insights from the market out there, competitors analysis for all the fields of cybersecurity that are in scope of the CyberSuite assets and the framework, performing a gap analysis in order to understand what is missing from our tools and what is also the need out there in the market in order to identify the space for our solutions out there, and also taking into account interoperability requirements and integration requirements that may come from technical activities, and our end user requirements that in this first phase come from the 4 demonstrators of the project. So we started from collecting this input as a basis, and then we extracted user stories that were verified by the end users. They have been homogenized, and they have been clearly mapped to the identified DevSecOps phases, the assets that are available, and the gaps. Then we proceeded to feature engineering, where we extracted features at asset level and at framework level that are closely bound to the user stories and serve the user stories. And after analyzing them, we proceeded to a value complexity voting in order to end up with our MVP, that is the third main component in this methodology, that actually has the prioritized backlog of features and has been revised in 2 iterations in order to be relevant after the technical work that was performed in the meantime in other work packages. All this MVP actually will fit and will drive, as we said before, the technical development in work package 3, the user, the demonstrator scenarios of work package 4, and also the activities for the development of the marketplace in task 6.1. So we will have a brief look at the outputs of this process. So the first step was actually to identify what our assets are offering, where they are positioned in terms of the DevSecOps lifecycle, where they fit in this lifecycle, and to see how we fill in the gaps. So this was the first step, and here you see the mapping that we have done. We see that we cover, as CyberSuite, the complete lifecycle of DevSecOps. Then another thing that needed to be done a bit in parallel was scoping and empathizing with our users. So actually we identified 4 user personas. The service consumer, the SMEs, the ones that may not have the strong technical background and cybersecurity background, and they want to protect their organizations against cyber attacks. And they may also not have the resources in terms of financial resources in order to use the suites of cybersecurity suites that are out there. Then we have the business side under this user persona, the service consumer, the one that doesn't have the technical background, and the IT technical user persona, the one that is more familiar with cybersecurity terms, and configuration of services may be a bit easier for them. Then we have the service provider user personas, the ones that are actually providing the services of CyberSuite. This may come from the consortium, and they are the tool owners, the developers of the assets, but in the future they may also come from external. We may have external providers, the ones that may, for example, want to onboard their services and extensions through the marketplace. And finally, we have the administrator user persona that comes from the consortium, and what they want is actually to ensure the seamless operation of the CyberSuite framework. Here you see just a snapshot from our user story backlog. We ended up with 44 user stories that are covering the complete DevSecOps lifecycle, and they have all been relevant. They are all relevant to at least one CyberSuite asset or to the integrated framework and the interoperability layer that will be built underneath. And Yannis Lidakis will provide you with more information about that. With regards to feature engineering, here we just see the distribution of the 151 features that have been extracted, both at asset level and at framework level. These are distributed across the DevSecOps phases, and we have some that are independent, and they are covering the horizontal needs of the user. And finally, to conclude, the final result of these activities was actually the extraction of the CyberSuite MVP. Here we see the matrix. We have performed, as we said before, a priority and a value and complexity voting prioritization in order to see which are the features that we plan, that we target to have from our first release, which are the ones that we will have added in our second and enhanced release, and maybe some features may be left out as they have not been voted of high value, or they are not seen as of high value by our end users. This backlog is, as I said, flexible, and it will be updated in an agile manner during our development and demonstration activities. But as you see the schema, on the upper left side, we see the things that are easy to implement, that are considered easy to implement and are bringing high value. These are the ones that we will for sure have in our first release. On the up and right side, we have the ones that are more difficult, but are also considered of high value. These are the main target for our second release. And at the bottom, we can see the features that were voted as of having less value, less added value. These are the ones that we may have in our releases as easy wins and easy to add features, the ones that are on the left side, while the ones on the right side, as you see, they are also labeled with red, which means that they are not considered very valuable by our end users and possibly will be left out of our final releases. So that's all about the MVP and the DevSecOps. I'm happy to answer any questions now or after we complete the presentations.
Thank you, Nefeli, for that insightful through of our MVP and DevSecOps principles. The questions will be, as we have told, you can send your questions via the chat or afterwards, after the webinar, through the contact form of our website. All questions will be made in the end of the webinar. So now let's move on to our next presentation. We will explore now the architecture, interoperability, and integration approach that we have followed in CyberSuite. This presentation will be delivered by Yannis Lidakis, our technical project manager from Ubitech, and Nicola Martialis from Pluribus One. So, Yannis, the floor is yours.
Yes, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So yes, we'll try to save a bit time as well, and I guess that we have Nicola Martialis and Nicolas Luda here that can help on the presentation, but I think most will be done by my side. So let's start. Yeah. What we're going to discuss in this session, I will like first to continue what Nefeli presented already by saying just very few words for the use cases, and then continue with the design integration approach and some implementation aspects about our, let's say, work so far. And then we continue with presenting the tools, and we start by the CyberSuite Dashboard and the Marketplace, and then to give you a better look of the platform as a whole, and then we continue with the tools, the other tools. Now, okay, starting already the demonstrator. So we have 4 different demonstrators in very distinct, let's say, environments. With different security challenges and but I will say very similar objectives, because the objectives for security are, we'll say, relevant most of the cases, but we have different setups. So for our first demonstrator for energy tracker, where is a 3-layered data management and analytics engine for energy and activity data from Suite 5, the main idea is to enhance the cybersecurity perimeter, to improve the threat detection and incident response capacity, minimize downtimes related to cybersecurity, and increase the cybersecurity awareness. We have a second demonstrator related to railway monitoring through drones, with the objective to increase, in general, the cybersecurity of this framework by enabling more cybersecurity services, safeguarding the capabilities of the platform, and do this on the runtime and by design. On our third demonstrator, it's relevant to e-health and e-care services. Again, we want to enhance, of course, cybersecurity into services provided to the citizens. This is for a group of municipalities in Greece. So we want, it's a critical demonstrator for us to increase cybersecurity awareness, because among the municipalities, there is a lot of people that are not aware about cybersecurity challenges. So we want to highlight the awareness and also the threat sharing capabilities of the platform. Finally, our fourth demonstrator is about agri-food. So we have a cloud-based SaaS for the creation management of data spaces, communication, data exchange. So a typical SaaS platform with focus on the agri-food and specifically the wine value chain. We want to improve things like authentication, monitoring and alerts, and give a better SLA confidence, and also to improve the development and deployment procedures. That's it, what we want to do, and also what Nefeli already told you about the creation of the MVP. And as you might have understand, CyberSuite is a framework composed by many different tools. So these tools may be mature, but we want to identify useful synergies between the tools. And for this, this is more or less what we work towards the integrated framework build-up. We try to establish requirements for the interoperability of the tools, also including standards that can be used. And then we want to see if we address the user requirements and we cover also the full DevSecOps loop, or we have some gaps. So the gap analysis that has been done already and its continuous process, it's part of what we are doing in the way to implement CyberSuite. And after all this process that has been made, and it's continuous in reality, but the main thing about identifying synergies has been already done, we started designing, implementing, and deploying already the platform. So CyberSuite builds on top of mature cybersecurity tools because, as Yuri explained, it's a digital Europe project. So in reality, no major developments, new developments are expected at tool level. And this is important and it's good, but it creates some integration challenges. So we have different tools. So we have each of tools has different internal data structures that it's not easy. We are not have the capability now to change tools internally, at least very much. And we don't have a common language to support integration or event correlation. And of course, we have to find a way to make the tools communicate together, because each tool produces valuable outputs, but it's not easy. It's not out of the box consumed by the rest of the tools. So what we try to bring is this kind of integration that can help us on making all the tools work together. For this, I will try to explain a bit the architecture here, because, okay, there are a lot of boxes, but I will try to guide you through the most important stuff. So at the bottom, you see the infrastructure to be protected. In CyberSuite, we have tools that are protecting applications, can protect network, can also detect incidents within machines, but we also have tools like Puzzle that are focusing in Kubernetes world. So you see below what could be the agents, let's say, approach. It's not always agents. Some of the tools are agentless, but the idea is that we have an infrastructure that we want to protect, and we have some services that are applying things, mainly SeerBox and ACAS, but also Puzzle. These are the main protection services. And also we have a pen testing service that can be used also to generate tests. On top of it, there is the layer where we call CyberSuite local environment, and includes all the tools that are installed locally on the premises of an organization. The reason that we need this, it's because we don't want to, we want the private installation of CyberSuite that allows to protect the services. So no data about possible a high value of data is generated, and the alerts should be in place, not going into cloud or public. Only if the user wants to, and we'll explain how. So we have here the services, the protection services that are installed locally. That could be Puzzle, the risk assessment service, ACAS service, SeerBox, or a pen testing service. And all these services are generating data that is outputted in a common, let's say, a search and analytics engine that, based on our implementation, it's Elasticsearch. And also we have a message queue as Kafka that can also help. So we have both these, let's say, integration capabilities, but our main focus is Elasticsearch because this will be our main driving force. We'll see a bit more on the dashboard, but yeah, the idea is that all services output their data in Elasticsearch. On top, we have what it's deployed in the cloud. First of all, it's the marketplace. Marketplace, as you will see, it's responsible for storing policies that can and services that can extend the capabilities of CyberSuite local environment. So you are not obliged to use a marketplace, but marketplace, it's something that it's the public, let's say, available way to expand the capabilities of CyberSuite, because for us, building something that's expandable, it's very important. We have the cyber threat intelligence service and agent that is a way to share with the proper standards like sticks in the private way, in an anonymized way, if you want any organization that wants to share a threat intelligence. And also we have some cloud services that in reality can be installed locally or cloud, but mainly this will be served as cloud services like MAESTRO, Kartos, SASTer. And we have also two services that are related to end user without, let's say, to the awareness, I will say, the anti-phishing game and the CyberGEIGER Toolbox that are provided to the user device that it's typically a mobile phone, an Android phone, for example, and sends the results to the cloud services. And that's the main idea of CyberSuite framework as a whole. And of course, I have to say that we also have a CyberSuite Academy that includes a lot of useful, will host a lot of useful material for cybersecurity awareness. Already, the first cybersecurity, let's say, classes have been on board. So it's up and running, and you can definitely register and see what it's already there. Going into a bit more details on the interoperability and the communication part, as we explained, CyberSuite integrates multiple cybersecurity tools that are developed independently, but we need a seamless coordination. We need to do this, to share semantics. We need to have a unified operation while minimizing integration overhead. To do this, we used Elasticsearch, and on top of this, we agreed on a common, let's say, way to share alerts and incidents that are detected by the tools. So this will allow us to build compatible dashboards, to have a shared language, a structure across the tools, and it is somehow straightforward to be implemented. Some of the tools that we have already supported. And on top of this, we have the ability to implement common policies. So each tool on its own, like SeerBox or ACAS or Puzzle, can implement some protection policies. But however, by integrating all the data and alerts in a single database, and Elasticsearch in specific, that host has its own, let's say, language, and you can create custom queries with KQL language. We use this in order to create common policies. This will allow to give added value for the end user. So we have already built some policies on top of commonly shared data, and we have developed a first POC on top of it. So the idea here is that we create, let's say, the policies, and then we make them available through end users through a common, let's say, UI to define the policy, adapt the parameters, and deploy this policy, a protection policy, through the UI. And this can be used with multiple tools. So far, we have an example of this in the integrated platform based on the Puzzle tool. Puzzle is a tool that comes out from one of our previous research projects. So it worked for the protection of Kubernetes deployments based on eBPF especially, and we were able to create custom policies. Now, we have been moving this to this new architecture based on Elasticsearch, and we have implemented a first POC of this. So what you see as the creation of a policy, it is possible to be activated through the dashboard, and we have then the ability to get some monitoring alerts. And on top of this, you see with the history on this, and also as part of our improvements in Puzzle, we have already performing integration with LLM to assist the end user with the LLM analysis. So we provide the outputs of the alert through a quick analysis. And this is only the beginning. Because we have started developing the whole CyberSuite dashboard that can, based on some mockups, and then we are going to build all the integrations on top of this. Now, these slides are prepared from Nicholas from EBOS. Just to speed up, we agreed that I can present. So the CyberSuite dashboard will serve as an entry point for visualizing the most critical information from all CyberSuite tools and services, and acts as a central interface for the users to monitor status, analyze threats, and evaluate the cybersecurity standing. So in other goals, we try to provide an intuitive user interface with real-time visibility to threats, risk, and infrastructures. And this is targeted to SMEs. And this will provide direct access to CyberSuite tools and also to aggregated results from them. So yeah, we want to visualize the data. We want to present analytics and to view, coming from the risk side, to view to provide different views on risk dimensions, system exposure, and also, where it is possible, also to mitigation actions. Yeah, so starting, going to a tool like a tool overview. The dashboard sits on the CyberSuite core. It is backed by the integration engine and also by Kicklock for identity management in the database. But in reality, what you see here, it's some mockups about how we started before the implementation of the dashboard that you already said. We started with the definition of some mockups. And this, as I explained, this talks to the marketplace for the exchange of some policies and services. Now, how the design process was implemented. First, we built on top of what was done in Work Package 2, was presented by Nepheli. So we have the requirements collection, the feature listing, and the definition. So this whole requirements gathering phase was already presented. However, to prepare the dashboard, this was not enough, because we have to create a mock-up design, and this needed some brainstorming on the layout and the visualization methods, but also to identify the needs of the tools, because as you see on our first slide, how the tools could work together was something that should be decided, and we should find some meaningful interactions. On top of this, we started to create mockups and iterate based on the testing and feedback. Now, what we have started already is the technical development of the dashboard and the integration of the dashboard within the CyberSuite framework. So we have progress through all these stages, and we have deployment testing and development testing and deployment of the CyberSuite dashboard. So these are some mockups, because we want to have a centralized dashboard providing alerts, but we also want to go into deeper on each of the tools. And as you see, we have also some ways to connect to the marketplace. These are the starting points. A lot more of the mockups have been implemented, and also a first POC of the dashboard has been developed already, as shared with you already. That's from Nicholas and also from my side. Thank you. I don't know if you have any questions now. I think we have 2 minutes for the Q&A if you have any questions.
Questions in the end of the webinar.
Okay.
So let's thank you very much for your presentation and for giving us this this information about how about the dashboard, and also about the architecture of CyberSuite. Now we will proceed with the marketplace, which enables easy onboarding and access to services, as you said before. Once again, we welcome Nepheli from Suite 5. So Nepheli, the floor is yours.
Hi again. I will share the screen. I think there are some issues with my connection, so I will close my camera. Let me know if the slides are unreadable. Can you see the screen?
Yes, Nepheli, we can.
Okay. So with regards to the marketplace, as introduced, it is a web-based application. It will act as a satellite application to the local installations of the CyberSuite framework. And its main purpose is actually to enable both the extensibility of CyberSuite by allowing internal or even external providers to onboard their own services that are compatible with the CyberSuite integration mechanism or with specific CyberSuite assets, for example, with the puzzle risk assessment that utilizes policy templates in order to perform its checks. So this is the main role of the marketplace. Here we just have an overview of cybersecurity marketplaces out there, their main advantages that they bring to end users, actually that they bridge the demand and the supply side of cybersecurity. They offer some streamlined processes with regards to acquisition of the services, with regards, for example, to monitor transactions, buy and sell process, etc. And they are also built in a user-friendly manner that is not only addressed towards specialists and experts in cybersecurity. However, the common challenges of these marketplaces is that for providers, it is difficult to gain traction against other services that are in a marketplace. Secondly, for service consumers that want to see how they could protect their infrastructures, it is not easy to discover the most relevant services. And finally, the automation, the process automation from demonstration and from selection of a service up to utilizing the service is something that is far from being automated. On the bottom of the slide, we see some of the cybersecurity marketplaces out there. Some are vendor-driven, and this means that the services that are available through the marketplace are compliant to a specific cybersecurity suite. Then we have the hyperscaler cybersecurity marketplaces that are actually bound to cloud infrastructure, to cloud resources, to specific cloud resources, for example, Microsoft Azure or Amazon cloud resources. And then we have some independent marketplaces that collect services that are out there without being bound to a specific cybersecurity suite or to a specific CSP. We in CyberSuite, we will actually view this as a mixture of the vendor-specific, as we actually want to promote and foster the utilization of the CyberSuite integrated framework, and maybe part of the independent marketplace approach. So you see here where it stands, the marketplace in the DevSecOps lifecycle. It is part of the horizontal services, the ones that have to do with the onboarding, configuration, and use of cybersecurity services in our business target infrastructure to be protected. And here we see our vision in some from the features point of view, main features point of view. So actually we want to onboard and to offer to the end users innovative services that will be come in an affordable price. In the context of the project, we will not have any monetization. All the services will be offered for free. We offer the strong integration with the CyberSuite framework. So a user that already has a deployment of the CyberSuite framework will easily extend it through the marketplace, select the service on the marketplace, and have it deployed on the framework side. We offer features for service support, and this means in-app communication, for example. And this will come from the support of the marketplace, but also from the providers. So we will support communication between the provider and the consumer side. And we will also integrate with the service recommendation engine of the CyberSuite framework in order to highlight the most relevant services to the end user based on the results of the assets that are running or their infrastructure side. We offer various service exploration features, sorting, filters, categories and taxonomies that are following cybersecurity standards, and also community-based features that have to do with keeping our framework vendor neutral. For example, rating of services from the users, reviews of services, and in the second release, we may also have service recommendations, service and new service suggestions from the customer side. Some example services that could be part of our marketplace are policies, as already said by Yannis, and configuration scripts. So our first version has already been deployed. It is available at link that you see below. And we offer the basic functionalities, the first bunch of functionalities for all free and envisioned users of the marketplace. So for service consumers, as you see in the screenshots, we have the service listings of services that have been made by providers. The user can also communicate with the support of the marketplace. They can favorite some services in order to find them easily afterwards, and they can acquire them if they are registered to the marketplace. For service providers, we offer the creation of new services through a form. They can update their services as needed in order, for example, to add new patches if any vulnerability has been identified, or if they have a new release of the service, they can make it available through a new version in the marketplace. They can also utilize the communication features in order to contact the support center. And we also have notifications of various types for users in order to keep them up to date with what is going on in the platform. Also, we have some features for UI UX for the end user, for example, for service providers, in order to minimize the need to repeat and duplicate information across their services. We have a duplicate an existing service functionality. Finally, for the administration side, we gave a lot of focus on the user platform and service moderation and management aspects. So the administrators, they are internal from the CyberSuite consortium, and they will be responsible for user moderation. At this stage, user registrations will be accepted in a moderated manner, but after we have the first testing rounds, we will open up to the public. So we have user moderation, we have service management, where the moderator will check the services that have been submitted by service providers, check if they are okay and consistent, if they are secure, and afterwards, after they accept the specific service, then it will reach the final consumer. No service will be published without going through the moderation step before, and no service edit also. Every edit will go through moderation from the administrator. Finally, we also have content moderation, as you see, for administrators, where they will be able to view any content that has been flagged as inappropriate or spam from the users of the marketplace, in order to avoid having abusive language or any usage of the marketplace against the terms and conditions and respect to the community. This, I think, concludes my presentation.
So thank you, Nefeli. The marketplace clearly plays a vital role in making CyberSuite approachable and scalable for SMEs. This presentation concludes the CyberSuite framework section. As you have seen, the platform is built with modularity, security, and usability at its core, ensuring that it can adapt to a range of organizational needs while staying easy to implement and maintain. Next, we will move into a dynamic and practical part of our webinar, the CyberSuite Tools overview. Each of our partners will give a short presentation on the tool they have developed and integrated into the CyberSuite platform. These tools together form the building blocks of our cybersecurity services, addressing everything from risk analysis and intrusion detection to awareness training and threat intelligence. Let's begin with ACAS, presented by Man and Yugen from Montimage. So, Man, the floor is yours.
So, hi everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so thanks for the introduction. I'm Mike. I'm research engineer at Montimage. So I'm going to present the tool ACAS, which stands for Advanced Cybersecurity Analytics Service. So this is the outlines of my presentation. So I will start with the context and the motivation behind our tool. And then I present the architectures of ACAS. And I will go through the tool overviews including the backend APIs and also the user interface. So encryption is rapidly becomes the norm for the internet communication. So I can see on the right, according to the Zscaler survey, 95% of all the internet is encrypted, and over 85% of attacks occur within the encrypted traffic. So encryption protects the user privacy, but at the same time, it also increases the complexity of the traditional security tool. For example, signature-based and rule-driven system struggle to inspect encrypted payload, and also the encryption is resource intensive and often impractical and can raise privacy concerns. So we need an AI-driven solution where the AI model can analyze metadata, traffic pattern, and behavioral signal without decryption to detect anomalies. It allows also a real-time, scalable, and privacy-preserving detection of threat. So with this context, we designed and implemented the tool ACAS with the main goals of monitoring and detecting anomalies such as botnets, DDoS attack, ransomware in encrypted network traffic. So the tool is very useful for network administrator, security analyst, AI developer, and tester. And you can see on the right, the architecture of the ACAS. So it's begin with the feature engineering modules to parcel the raw traffic in pickup format, to extract the flow-based feature, including the protocol fields values, and also the statistical metric using our tool AMT. And the extracted feature are processed by the deep learning classification modules. Here we chain two stack autoencoder, one for normal traffic and one for malicious traffic. The outputs will be concatenated and be fed into one-dimensional CNN to perform the final classification to whether the traffic is normal or malicious. So ACAS has a flexible architecture, and it has been changed and tested using both dataset, public and private, with good performance. For example, it has achieved 99% in of accuracy in botnet detection. So regarding the tool overviews, so ACAS has a robust backend with over 70 Structure-based APIs. So user can manipulate the MT2, asset reports, and upload JFile for analysis. And there are also some endpoints related to the AI model for managing the building process, retrieving the prediction result, and so on. So the designs make the ACAS very flexible and easy to integrate in Azure system or front-end, back-end. So we integrated ACAS into the Montimage AI platform, providing the user a user-friendly interface to perform different actions. The platform also provides support to other characteristics such as explainability or resilient with the help of the explainable AI techniques and adversarial attack. So you can find the code, the documentation, and also the video demo of our tool on our GitHub page. So thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you, Man, for the presentation and for showing us how ACAS can support SMEs on threat detection, root cause analysis, and providing actionable countermeasures. Next, we have SeerBox presented by Guido Muredou from Pluribus One. So, Guido, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
No, not yet.
Okay, now you should.
Yes, now we can.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. Well, SeerBox is a solution for the detection on HTTP traffic, any kind of service using HTTP traffic from websites to APIs. And it works in a slightly different way compared to traditional web application firewalls in that it sits offline. It doesn't really have an active role, but it serves as a management platform. So it's able to control other components and other systems within the infrastructures with protection rules or sending logs with detected events and so on. So this is an example of the deployment of a deployment for SeerBox. As you can see, it receives logs of HTTP traffic from a web server in this case, but it really can be any component able to log this kind of logs, this kind of traffic. And then it can either create custom protection rules, either to be sent to a network firewall or a web application firewall, or send detected alerts to an SIEM system or such, or really any kind of log collection facility. Logs can be sent in pretty much any format. We will be using JSON for this project, but we support pretty much all standard formats. So SeerBox uses a containerized architecture, so it can really be deployed pretty much anywhere. Most of our deployments are on-premise, but it is just as suitable for cloud environments or even hybrid environments. And we have a centralized component, which is the SeerBox engine, which is the main point where the traffic is collected. And then Sentinel containers, which are deployed as sensors very close to web servers and other components which are logging traffic. The GUI and reporter components serve as interface elements, and they also provide extensive APIs, as we'll see later on. So this is an example of the dashboard for SeerBox. As you can see, it provides an overview of the detection activities and allows users to inspect alerts or all detected and inspected traffic, generate reports, create protection rules, inspect audit logs, and so on. So its main values are the fact that it can be deployed pretty much on any platform, providing real-time monitoring and automated protection. There are APIs which allow users to deploy integrations with pretty much any components, and all features available through the GUIs are also available through the APIs. Otherwise, if the integration is performed through logging, we provide JSON format logging. And SeerBox is also often used as a support tool for security assessment solutions, because during performing passive monitoring of HTTP traffic, it is basically able to reconstruct the shape and structure of an application even when this information is not available and much closer to the truth than what crawlers or documentation often can achieve. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Guido. SeerBox shows great potential for web application security management, and thank you for highlighting its deployment value. Our next tool is SASTer, developed by inQbit, but today will be presented by Nicholas Luca from EBOS. So, Nicholas, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Georgia. So just a second, I will share my screen. Just give me a second, I'm trying to switch around the screens. There we go. So yes, as Georgia mentioned, Yannis Makrovodis, who's a cybersecurity engineer from inQbit, was not able to join. So I'm taking over this presentation for him. So SASTer is a static application security testing tool. So essentially what that means is it enables developers to proactively ensure that their code has no vulnerabilities by scanning it and identifying vulnerabilities. So it doesn't have to execute it, and it just goes through and scans the whole code to identify these vulnerabilities. In the case of SASTer, it can handle codes written in C and C++, Java, Python, and JavaScript, which are well used within the industry. And it is an extendable platform which can have a enhanced functionality through integration with other open source security tools. So in terms of SASTer scope, it basically enables an end-to-end security workflow. So from the start of adding the code to creating a project and uploading the code to trigger the security scan, it can be done via the interface of the tool or either an API or it's basically a plug and play solution. So it doesn't have to rely on any other specialized tools to perform this vulnerability scanning. And due to its nature, it's by nature, it's friendly to the DevSecOps process, as it provides a user-friendly interface for its functionality. And lastly, through the use of different technologies, SASTer can be used either through a web-based platform or through a Python client interface, which again, it's in line with the user-friendly and easy-to-use ethos of the tool itself. So that was all. It was quite a fast one, but if there are any questions, please post them in the chat section, and hopefully I will be able to answer them. If not, we can forward the question to Yannis and get back to you.
Thank you, Nicholas, for making this presentation and for highlighting how SASTer promotes secure coding and supports DevSecOps integration in SME environments. We now turn to pen testing, presented by Edgardo Montes de Oca from Montimage. So, Edgardo, the floor is yours.
Actually, it's Luong who will present. No, the pen testing. No, it's me. Sorry.
Okay, great.
Where I put it, share. See my screen?
Yes, yes, we can, Ricardo.
So I will present a pen testing tool. So I'm Edgardo Montedioca, founder and CEO of Montimage, and I'm presenting for Vin, who is not available at this moment. So I will first give an introduction, then describe the pen testing tools we are working on, and give some examples. So the pen testing is important to be able to analyze the vulnerabilities of the network, the websites or applications, so that they can be made more resilient to attacks. So it's acting as a ethical hacker to be able to do this process. And the type of tool that we work on includes what we call the network fuzzer, which allows fuzzing the protocols to be able to introduce vulnerabilities, attacks, and this can be done to analyze applications that communicate to the network stacks. And then we have a variant of the network fuzzer, which is called 5G replay, which is more dedicated to 5G and EOT, where we replay and modify 5G EOT traffic to simulate real world conditions and attacks. And then we have a MMT attacker, which allows to launch different packet-based attacks for testing intrusion detection in different applications. And for this MMT attacker, it's complemented by open source tools, which includes for scanning and recon of networks, exploitation and payloads, type attacks, and wireless and network attacks, and API testing and automation. Using different well-known open source tools. And to this, we also complement doing source code inspection and analysis, and this is important to detect vulnerabilities in the code, not only on the web application, but also on the network applications and all type of components. And then, for example, I will give an example of web application security testing, where we test for vulnerabilities like SQL injection and cross-site scripting. And for mobile application pen testing, we identify insecure data storage, weak encryption, and improper handling. And for internal network security assessments, we find the vulnerabilities in the internal system, for instance, weak passwords or outdated software versions. And for IoT device and smart system testing, we ensure communication protocols are secure and devices can't be hijacked. So thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Edgardo. The questions, as I told before, will be made all in the end of the webinar to the dedicated Q&A session. So thank you for your presentation, which shows how automated pen testing can greatly reduce risk for SMEs by simulating real-world attack scenarios. So this is also very important. Up next is MAESTRO, developed by Ubitech, and will be presented by Yannis. So Yannis, the floor is yours again.
Okay. 1 minute, trying to share. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can. Yes.
So, yes, MAESTRO, it's a cloud management platform and service orchestrator. It allows users to deploy and manage cloud-native applications through a dedicated UI. Can utilize Kubernetes, and we can also automate the deployment of Kubernetes, or we can integrate to a new Kubernetes on an existing Kubernetes infrastructure in order to deploy the applications by providing the UI to the user. It allows the easy creation of application and deploying of them, and on top of it, it provides monitoring and scaling based on these metrics. And also, we provide serverless support. There are, let's say, some main concepts here. We use components by creating a service, and then we create an application. So typically, a component is a container, but while an application is a composition of components that are linked together, and each of the components can scale in the way that it's needed. Together, this create an application instance that is a deployment of a blueprint of an application. And of course, we have the different resources that these applications can be deployed. So just trying to explain how MAESTRO works, so how someone can use MAESTRO in reality. So starting by defining components, so a user can define the name of a component, the architecture in terms of supporting a architecture, if it is a ARM or Intel architecture, or even RISC-V. We have successfully deployed in RISC-V Kubernetes clusters. But the main thing is to provide the container image that it's to be deployed. And to configure this from the UI, you can use configuration of envs, and you can expose the required interfaces, and you can even define the appropriate health checks to ensure that the component is properly running. Furthermore, we support the advanced options like the network node privileges or Linux capabilities that are required for the deployment. So we try to ease the adoption of Kubernetes by creating such a UI. And once the components can be have been created, linking of the components, if these are suitable for each other, MAESTRO can help you on this with the definition of required interfaces of each of them. You can save and you can have them templates of an application. So the good thing is that you can use this many times. So even during the development, when you want to redeploy something, you can use this application blueprint. You can choose any resource provider because this is agnostic to the resource provider, and you can deploy. And of course, you can modify component parameters for the specific deployment, and you can proceed with the deployment where you can view logs, health checks, resource usage of the components, and you can also define scaling parameters. So we have a custom UI to view how your resources are consumed and how you can put some specific parameters on this. Finally, I have to highlight that we also support serverless workloads that can be deployed utilizing Knative, because it is something really useful, as Knative does not have a UI that you can use out of the box. So using MAESTRO for a Knative frontend, it is something that was requested. So again, the component logic is the same. It can be defined as serverless, and the scaling parameters can be defined prior to deployment and also during runtime. Now, what we want to do with MAESTRO here is that we want to expand MAESTRO that had some basic, let's say, security capabilities like whitelisting, blacklisting IPs after the deployment of the application, with integrating with CyberSuite for the automated protection. So more or less, the idea is that with the deployment of a service through MAESTRO with just single click, the idea is that the protection by puzzle, it is provided out of the box for the deployment of the application. And also to integrate with the other services. So the logs that are generated could be useful also for the other tools as well. Yeah. Finally, MAESTRO can also help on the CI/CD, on the part of the DevSecOps lifecycle that we have discussed at the beginning, because we can integrate MAESTRO in order to make automated deployments that are protected. So that's from my side.
Well, thank you, Yannis. MAESTRO plays a crucial role in bringing interoperability and automation to the CyberSuite ecosystem, so which is very important. Now we have the GEIGER Tools and Compliance Assistant to be presented by Samuel Fricker from CyberGEIGER. So, Samuel, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Georgia. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Let me also share my screen. Good. Now you should also be able to see my screen, right?
Yes, yes, Samuel,
very
thank
good.
you.
So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk about GEIGER and the GEIGER tools. GEIGER is a company which is a spin-off of a Horizon project addressing cybersecurity for small businesses, in particular to lay businesses which usually are disconnected from cybersecurity experts. I'm a co-founder of CyberGEIGER as well as an executive director. GEIGER is basically following the metaphor of a Geiger counter, which you know in atomic radiation. So we basically hold up the Geiger counter in order to understand the ambient radiation, respectively, are using the Geiger counter to detect what are the sources of the atomic radiation. And in a very similar way, we have adapted this metaphor to small businesses. So allowing or giving small businesses a tool in which they can detect whether they're exposed to cyber threats. And secondly, then also to identify where exactly the significant threats are located in order to resolve them. GEIGER as such is fine-tuned for laypersons, so the use of GEIGER does not require specific ICT or cybersecurity knowledge, and as such is also positioned within CyberSuite as the interface towards business end users. As you see here on the screen, GEIGER offers a kind of a scan functionality that allows to assess the ambient risk and then drill down into what are the sources of the problems that should be resolved. In the background, Geiger has APIs for connecting to other tools and information sources. Tools like, for example, those that are also presented today in this CyberSuite webinar, but also information sources, including external information sources, which give information or hints regarding what is ongoing right now that is of relevance for an SME, and that an SME should should be protected against. In the meantime, Geiger user interface has evolved, so I want to show you here just some impression of the user interface that we have as of today as part of the CyberSuite project. We have three main capabilities in the toolbox. One is the capability of the scan button that you've seen before that allows you to check your cyber threats with news that are pertinent for your business. So this news can be sourced, can be external news in the domain or in the environment or at the geographical location of your small business. They can also have internal sources, like, for example, detected by CyberSuite Tools. And as a second key capability, Geiger allows you to plan what you want to do in order to improve your protection of your small business. In particular, it allows you then to identify recommended actions, select recommended actions, and use then your backlog of recommended actions that you have selected for step-by-step improvement of your cybersecurity. The results from checking your organization against cyber threat and your results of implementing step-by-step your cybersecurity leads to a score that you can use to self-assess yourself. Am I well protected, or am I insufficiently protected at risk, and should again undertake more actions in order to improve your cybersecurity. Assisting this toolbox that I've just outlined before is a news group where SMEs and experts interested in cybersecurity exchange with each other, also give hints regarding what is ongoing right now in cybersecurity. And this is a basis for identifying external sources as well as external threats that are considered as part of CyberGEIGER. And last but not least, we also have a CyberCoach that allows you to get assistance in the implementation of actions which are part of your to-dos that you want to follow in order to improve your cybersecurity. Also, what you see here is we have multi-language support. So the previous screen was in French language, addressing French users. This screen here shows German content addressing German users. And our intent within the CyberSuite project is to support the languages that the consortium is representing. In this very specific case of using the CyberCoach, you see, for example, an end user has received an SMS message, is not sure about what the message is about. Is it dangerous or is it not dangerous? And the CyberCoach basically helps that end user to understand this can actually be a phishing attempt, and gave step-by-step instructions how to verify it and what to do in order to protect against that incident. We look forward to collaborating with CyberSuite as well as any third parties that want to collaborate with us to further strengthen this offering and give easy to use, up-to-date security support for those businesses that need it most, those who are not expert in ICT, respectively those who are even disconnected from cyber experts. With that, I also look forward later on to answer any questions that will be posted in the chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samuel. This tool clearly empowers non-expert users by simplifying self-assessment and regulatory alignment, which is very useful, and also within the objectives of our project. So our next tool is BC CTI, presented by Theofilos Papasternos from Compelio. So Theophile, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Let me know if you can see my screen and if the sound is okay. I will keep my
Yes.
camera switched off just to avoid any risks with pixelation on the slides.
Yes, Theophile, we can see your screen.
Perfect.
And we
Thank
can
you very
hear
much.
you very
Hello, everyone. My name is Theophile Papasternos, COO at Compelio, and I'm going to discuss the blockchain component that we are developing as part of the project. A few words about us. So Compelio is a deep tech company. We're located in Luxembourg, and since early 2018, we have been developing technologies on the Web 2, Web 3 interoperability front. So how can we connect actually off-chain systems with the world of Web 3? So blockchains, tokenization, and digital data wallets. We have a patent in the USA, and we're also working with MIT in research across Web 2, Web 3 interoperability. Another area where we're quite heavily involved is the definition of internet standards as part of the IETF working group. Internet of assets, so what is that exactly? So we've seen that the internet is progressing, new computing paradigms are shifting how different types of assets are monitored, managed, but also owned and exchanged. So an asset here is not just a tool, it can be anything from an identity, a property right, a financial asset, even a machine or even time. And with this type of new computing paradigm under the Internet of Assets, we can unlock some new capabilities for users, and in this case, SMEs. So that can users own the data about themselves. They can choose what data they want to disclose. They can instantly provide the ownership of these assets. They can be sure that those assets are genuine and authentic, but they can also manage all the transfers and the exchange between assets and various types of virtual machines. Now, our solution is an API-based solution. It sits in the middle, so you see it as Compelio Gateway. On the left side, we have any type of external system from public or private organizations where they can contribute their assets and send information through the API so that we can use the various technologies that we have integrated in order to provide what we call the tokenized asset twin on one or more selected blockchains. To make it a bit more practical here, I present a snapshot of the overall architecture. So the main value proposition is how we can make sure that the data that we have in Web 2 systems, so traditional IT, is dynamically synchronized with all the assets and the information that are found within Web 3 systems, blockchains in this case. So by using the Compelio Gateway, we have asset references that are universal, pretty much like the IP addresses that we have for servers. And the asset references are also unique and can be globally verified. So here we have an instance of a reference. This together with public token address goes into a target blockchain. It could be public, private. From our side, we're agnostic in terms of underlying blockchains. And then in order to drive the resolution, you can manage these types of registries where the information is actually synchronized between what you have here in the tokenized world and what you already have in your existing systems. As part of the project, we are leveraging these technologies and the patent in order to implement a blockchain-based collective threat intelligence module that actually has three components, and I'm going to discuss shortly about those three. The main idea is how can we enable secure information exchange about cyber incidents, but also detected vulnerabilities. And once we do this process, how can we also share this among different stakeholders and users and SMEs? So the scope is that the CTI data can be exchanged with flexible and extensible platforms in order to enable this efficient communication pipeline. Three modules that we're developing as part of the project. The first one is the asset profile, where we actually describe the semantic definition. So this is the semantic layer of assets, and typically we do that with JSON files. We have second the BCTI API, which actually facilitates all the data transfers between the systems. And the third one is the smart contracts, which is also an open source component in nature. Here we're using Ethereum virtual machines, so the EVM compatible chains, to facilitate the business logic and the workflows around the lifecycle management of the asset. Now, with regards to the target market, again, this core traceability component is market agnostic, it's blockchain agnostic. It can be used by a small team of developers up to an SME, but also by larger enterprise organizations that they want to enhance traceability and trustworthiness of data, not only for their internal systems, but also for any type of third-party collaboration with other customers or partners in the value chain. And the main value proposition from our side is that users can manage the life cycle of their assets, for example, their data, their workflows, their reports, any type of data or asset that has value. There is no lock-in because users here have flexibility and choices. Developers can start easily with a simple integration with the API. We don't impose any type of new infrastructure or skill development for the SMEs because we know that smart contract programming or typically the Web3 skills are not easily to be found in SMEs. So we're using with traditional legacy IT systems, but also knowledge with compliance to the regulations like GDPR. The billing is in euro, so SMEs they don't need to hold or manage crypto, and they can scale safely with a predictable total cost of ownership. In terms of target markets, of course, as part of this project, we're focusing on SMEs. Ideally, these SMEs they have technological focus, or they even have validated interest in blockchain technology. Another channel is the value-added resellers or larger organizations, those integrators, where they have a pool of SMEs or larger partners where we can bring the solution to. But also we can use this type of neutral technology in order to enable new business model for the SMEs and ideally create new products or new services based on their existing knowledge and assets. So this is us in a nutshell. I'm happy to follow up at the end with any potential questions. And back to you, Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you, Theofilos. BCBCTI brings an innovative edge to threat intelligence by combining blockchain with cybersecurity, which is very important as well and fits well in the CyberSuite framework. So let's move on. Next, we have Kartos, developed by Enthec, and will be presented by Sergio San Isidro. Just one reminder to the participants of our webinar, please post your questions in the chat so as to gather them all and make them and answer them in the end of the webinar. So, Sergio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Georgia. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So, hello, everyone. My name is Sergio San Isidro, and I'm a software developer at Enthec. So, I'm going to present Kartos, which is our main product. So, what is Kartos? Kartos is a cyber intelligence tool that focus on external attack surface. It's important to say that it's a non-intrusive and automated platform that monitors internet, dark web, and deep web to locate leaks and expose vulnerabilities of companies. Here you can see a screenshot of the platform. Kartos provides domain information and also a score based on objective data obtained in real life. We provide security and reputation score to have an idea on how is your domain or even your provider's domain. Kartos provides SMEs information about how cyber criminals can reach them so they can improve their defense and cyber security. All the information that we found about each company, we classified it into these 9 categories. Network related to exposed service and certificates. DNS health is related to phishing, fraud, and scam campaigns. Patch management, IP reputation, security related to headers, cookies, configuration. Also email security with email servers configuration, leaks, documents or credentials, and social media intelligence that provides, we can find some phishing and fraud and scam campaigns even in social media. So it's important to say that the technology is developed by us, so Kartos doesn't depend on third-party applications. And it's a software as a service, so the configuration is very easy. You don't have to require implementation in your organization's IT system. And yes, as I said before, we provide real-time data and alerts on open and exposed vulnerabilities. So what can we highlight for business protection? The category leak credentials to have the location of leak and exposed business credential. Also email accounts of the companies and organizations, and the source of this breach. Also the brand protection, the compliance, and the protection against social engineering. And well, I think it's the same, the location of the data and the leaks. I think this is the most important for the SMEs. So if you have any doubt, then we can discuss, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sergio. Thank you for the presentation. Kartos, as you all have seen, offers a proactive approach to risk management that is especially valuable for organizations with limited internal security teams. So this is one of the target audiences of CyberSuite. Now we will conclude our tool presentations with the anti-phishing game, which will be presented by Long and Eugen from Montimage. So Long, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jacques. I will share my screen. In the presentation mode. Second. Okay, can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you. So hello everyone, this is Leon from Montimage. Today I'm going to present one of our security tool. We designed as a game for more interesting, and it's named Anti-Phishing game. So for this version, we focus mainly on email domain. So this is a very quick introduction. It's an educational phishing awareness game. So it's designed to have an interesting way to attract normal user to aware of there is always phishing email, and you need to be aware of that. The interaction, the design of the interface is the interaction. So we present some email and we ask you a question about the email, and you provide the response, and then we do some evaluation based on the response. Well, for the target user, we target first will be the individual who want to improve the phishing detection skill, but it's also very interesting for organization. So the organization can participate in creating the training campaign, so they can train for all the employee in the company, and also of course for educational institution and even the security professional. And this is some key feature of the application. The user can register as the user, or they also can play as anonymous user. We respect the privacy of the user. We present the email in the way that you see the email in your email client, so it's very familiar with everyone. For each question, we will have some kind of time challenge, because we found that it's interesting and important to be sometimes react quickly. So it's increase the awareness also about when you're playing the game. And we have the scoring system to visualize the level and the progress of the user. So it's like a game. We have a multiple level of the game, and for each level we have also the progress slide you are playing game. And for the feedback, every time you answer the question, you provide the answer. We will provide the answer in detail to explain, and through that, the user also can learn how to identify the phishing, how to detect the phishing. And we also have a funny ranking table where if you share, of course, the progress with the community or internal organization, you can see where are you in the level of the community or organization. So this is some screenshot. So this actually well, we have 3 different versions. We have one on Android, another on Windows environment, and this is the screenshot is on a web browser. So we decided we will go on the browser because it's it will not depend on any platform, and anyone can join and participate. So here you can see very quickly the first screen is for login. So the user can log in with username and password or sign anonymously. The second screen is the dashboard where user can see the level and the progress on the level. And the last one is the ranking table where the user can see where they on the ranking table for community and internal organization as well. And here we have the training mode where user can go in and read all information about phishing attack. And we have the playing mode where we show the email like in any email client when user receive an email, and we pose some questions for user to answer. This is very basic level. At level 0, the user only need to answer if this email is phishing or not phishing. But we have 4 different levels, and the higher level, the more certificate question will be provided. And finally, we have the answer screen where we provide in detail the explanation of each email, if it's phishing, what type phishing, and what kind of indicator that user can learn from that to identify if an email is phishing. And for now, anyone can go to this address to play to start playing the game. We also have another version on Google Play Store, Microsoft Store as well. If you have any feedback or question, you can email us with the contact on the screen. And along with that game, we also have a new services is under development. Is a phishing email analysis, and actually the service is running in the MVP version right now. So at any time you can forward any email that you want to analyze to this address, Anti-Phishing Montimage.eu, and we will provide the feedback based on our analysis, and we will provide the detailed report on the email that you send us. And that's it very quickly from me. If you have any question, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Long. As you showed us, the anti-phishing game is a great example of how awareness training can be made engaging and effective for users at all levels. So this is also important and within the objectives of CyberSuite as well. That tool wraps up our tools showcase. As you can see, CyberSuite is much more than a single solution. It's an integrated ecosystem of tools. Each of the tools is focused on a specific aspect of cybersecurity, but at the same time, they are all designed to work together as a unified framework. So whether it's threat detection, secure development, compliance, or awareness, CyberSuite brings the pieces together in one place and offers a cybersecurity solution for SMEs. So let's move on to the Q&A session. I don't know, I have seen one question at least, but Nicholas, have you gathered the questions from the participants?
Georgia, I think there is indeed only one question. That's from Long about whether there is any guide documentation for a new tool to integrate into CyberSuite Marketplace and Dashboard.
Yeah, I can answer on that. Currently, if you're talking for external services or external tools, there is not yet such documentation. The reason is that at the current state, we are trying to integrate the internal tools in order to being able to support the first version of CyberSuite platform. In general, however, I have to say that the idea is that we try to follow standards and make things easy. Now, what this means, as you said, as you have seen, we use Elasticsearch, so there are different, let's say, parts of the integration. One is to share your data, any alerts to Elasticsearch in general. So there are many ways to do this. So this is not, it's kind of standardized. It is something very, there are ways to do this that are not related to the project. So you can either use SDK to your on your application and export what you want at Elasticsearch, so you can configure. But even for developed applications like the ones that we have, you can use various tools that can use logs or any other kind of data to export them. So you can use, for example, FileBit, Logstash, or in a Kubernetes environment, you can use FluentD, FluentB. There are a lot of ways to integrate. So that's a good thing. There is, however, need to come into some kind of communication with us to agree on the index name that the tool should take. Maybe when we have towards the end of the project, we can provide this with more details and allow externals to join, because we are interested in this, but it's not part of the current process. And also regarding the policies to create on top of the data, I say that it will be kind of straightforward because there is, again, capabilities on top of Elasticsearch. So you can use KQL language in order to define this, or even more advanced query language. More advanced queries can be created with Elasticsearch. So there are ways. They are under, let's say, evaluation at the time, and we are not yet integrate them in a single thing that can be provided as, let's say, a guide for external services. One additional thing that I want to highlight for external services that could be integrated potentially in the marketplace, and not only their policies, because the one way to extend it is by contributing new policies or new data. But what we consider at the point is that using additional services, these services should be containerized in order to be deployed along with the other tools of CyberSuite in the local environment. That will be definitely a requirement.
So thank you, Yannis, for the detailed response. I don't know, Nicola, do we have any other questions, or if the participants would like to post any other questions right now?
There are no other questions in the chat, so I would kindly ask if any of the participants have any questions to either write them or raise a hand, and we can Yes, Long.
Yeah, thank you, Janice, for the answer, very detailed. I just want to follow up the question on the integration. So for now, let's say for CyberSuite, for now we focus more on the internal tool provider to integrate into the CyberSuite framework. One of the things, like maybe for every partner, for every tool provider, maybe they have a different pricing strategy. So finally, if some of the user want to buy a solution through CyberSuite Marketplace, what would be the payment process? It will be directly integrated and contact with the tool provider, or it will be via the CyberSuite Marketplace?
Yeah, okay. I have to say, of course, that even if you want, we can have discussions on proceeding with integration of any service if you have. The bad thing is that being early on the project, it's early. I mean, on not the maturity on the final level, but we have deployed what is needed, so we can support with some, more work to integrate anything if you want. So it's not that we are not interested in such a proposition. So feel free to reach us for more. About the payment, the main thing here it's that being on a research project, it's not easy to do real payments. I don't know, Nefeli wants to say something more on that, on the process that has been envisioned, let's say. Yes, Nefeli. Nefeli, we cannot hear you. I don't know if you are talking, Nefeli. Yeah, unfortunately, Nefeli, I see here.
She's unmuted, so maybe it's her microphone.
Yeah, definitely there are the technical side. There are planned things for the marketplace and how things can be, let's say, integrated on not on the payment, but on how to onboard services with different, let's say, types that being open or closed source and need some kind of payments. But I see there's some issues.
Yes, probably there's some issue with Nefeli. So if I can continue. Yes, because I just try to imagine that for any user, if the marketplace of CyberSuite is available on the market, for example, if some people or some startup, they have a very good idea, very good product, but one of their concern is they don't know much about the security. So what can we help them to, let's say, increase the security for their own product, from platform, human, and anything. And I think CyberSuite is very good place for that. But probably we need to have a way that's to starting the conversation. Like, let's say, okay, this is they can describe what this is our product and this is our concern right now. Which product should I buy? Which product should I install? And how can I do that? And because listing on the marketplace or the product in CyberSuite tool, we may have a lot of product, but then a lot of cybersecurity term and keyword that maybe normal user, especially nowadays, everyone can build a lot of different product. They may don't have the expertise to understand what did they really need. So I don't know if in the marketplace, if we have something to support for user to, let's say, go there and start talking about their product, and we can provide some kind of like help desk or customer support to starting the conversation to propose them with a product that fit for their profile.
Yes, recommendation, it's expected. We already have integrated LLM based, let's say, reasoning, although it's not really reasoning, but yeah, recommendation through LLM based on what kind mitigation it's required. And this is more on some standard input that we have provided, but the plan is to integrate further with the policies that are available and the tools that are in the marketplace in order to make proper recommendation based on this. So the idea is that yeah, the platform should help the users to select tools.
So it's with like some kind of chatbot with integrated generative AI?
Not chatbot. No.
Okay.
We don't want to put chatbot in the experience of the user, but if you have seen in the presentation before, there were already some explanations on the alerts to the end user. So we give the generated alert directly to an LLM in order to assist the user to understand the issues, and in the same time we can assist the user to understand out of the policies that are in the context of the specific user, the specific environment, which of them are more appropriate. So
thank you.
We are doing recommendation with the usage of a LLM.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Nefeli, do you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry for that. So I missed all the marketplace related questions, but I think Yannis, because we have discussed this a lot, he should have addressed them
Yeah,
very well. However, if you want any clarification, the monetization part, maybe, and the pricing and handling of price services.
Exactly, that was the question about the monetization. So if you can provide quickly some feedback also to
Okay. So at this stage of the project, we do not foresee to have any monetization mechanisms through the marketplace. Whichever service becomes available through the marketplace, however, the service provider will be capable to indicate if it is a free service, and for free services, the end user will be able to acquire them according to the way the provider has defined. So, for example, if it is a containerized service or a policy, they will be able to get it either locally or to send it to the integrated CyberSuite framework. If it is a paid service, then the marketplace will just serve the purpose as a showcase for the end users. The provider may be able to provide an external link that could be, for example, a contact link in order for service users, for consumers to contact them and see the payment and pricing together, or an external link to their own website that will host and have all the transaction and monetization functionalities. This is an approach that is also available in some of the marketplaces that are out there. So the handling of the pricing happens in the infrastructure of the individual vendors. It doesn't happen through the marketplace. I would say that during the project, since we are a project and we don't want to have any actual gains from commissions, etc. This is not something that I would see happening within the project framework. However, in our exploitation strategy and the business modeling, we will clearly identify what are the pathways for the marketplace, both in order to have something that could in the future become profitable for the marketplace side, but also how the transactions and payments could happen and which schemas would be used for the pricing part with regards to the providers and the consumers. So short answer, during the project, I don't see the marketplace having any transactions and payments and actually buying services. The user will be able to get access to the services that are available for free from the providers. But of course, during the course of the project, we will discuss this and we'll see if we need to reposition ourselves.
Thank you, Nefeli.
Well, thank you, Nefeli. Nicola, do we have any other questions in the chat?
As far as I see, there are no further questions.
Okay. So if the participants have any other questions or come to their mind something later, please feel free to reach out through our contact form at the project's website. We will be more than happy to answer all your questions and provide clarifications on our work. Just to let you know that the webinar will be also uploaded in our academy, in the CyberSuite Academy, and on our website as well. So if any of your colleagues would like to have a look of the work that we are doing, this information will be available online. For sure, we will send you the link after today's webinar. You will receive an email with the link of the online version. So, since there are no other questions, we can end this webinar, today's webinar. I would like to thank all our speakers, partners, and participants for joining us and contributing to such an engaging session. CyberSuite is here to empower SMEs with accessible, practical, and effective cybersecurity solutions. And today's presentations were a great step towards showing how we are making that a reality. Please stay in touch with us via our website, and also please join our newsletter. And we look forward to sharing more updates as the project progresses in the future. I don't know, Yannis, would you like to make a short wrap up, or we can close the webinar?
No, just thank everyone, especially for your feedback, and just say goodbye. I think we already took more time than expected. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.